Picture this: a mountain wrapped in thick smoke, trembling violently as thunder crashes overhead. Lightning tears through dark clouds, while a trumpet blast grows louder and louder. At the base of this terrifying scene, an entire nation stands in fear, witnessing something no human had ever seen before. This is Mount Sinai, and God is about to change history forever. 3 months have passed since the Israelites escaped Egypt's brutal slavery. They've crossed the Red Sea on dry ground, watched their enemies drown, and journeyed through the wilderness. Now they're camped at the foot of Mount Sinai in the desert. Approximately 2 million people waiting for something extraordinary. God has brought them here for a specific purpose: to transform them from a group of freed slaves into his holy nation, bound by covenant and law. Moses stands at the center of this story. He's the 80-year-old leader who confronted Pharaoh, who raised his staff over the Red Sea, and who now serves as mediator between God and Israel. God calls Moses up the mountain and delivers a message for the people. In Exodus 19:5-6, God declares, "Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." Moses descends and shares God's words with the elders. The people respond unanimously, promising to do everything the Lord commands, but they have no idea what's coming. God instructs Moses to consecrate the people, to have them wash their clothes and prepare themselves. For 3 days, they must purify themselves, because on the 3rd day, God himself will descend upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. God establishes strict boundaries around the mountain. No person or animal can touch it, or they'll die. The holiness of God's presence is so intense that even proximity without permission means death. This isn't arbitrary harshness. It's a profound lesson about God's nature. He's not a cosmic buddy or a divine vending machine. He's the creator of the universe, perfectly holy, and his presence is both wonderful and terrifying. The 3rd day arrives. Morning breaks over the desert, and suddenly the mountain erupts with supernatural phenomena. Thick clouds descend upon Sinai's peak. Thunder booms across the valley. Lightning flashes continuously. A trumpet sound, not made by human hands, blasts louder and louder until the people tremble with fear. The entire mountain shakes violently, as if the earth itself can barely contain God's presence. Smoke billows up like a furnace because the Lord has descended in fire. Moses leads the people out of camp to meet with God, and they stand at the foot of the mountain. The trumpet grows impossibly loud. Moses speaks, and God answers him in thunder. The spectacle is overwhelming. These people have seen the plagues in Egypt. They've walked through the parted sea, but nothing compares to this moment. God is revealing himself in power and majesty. God calls Moses to the summit. Alone, this elderly shepherd climbs into the smoke and fire, into the very presence of God. What happens next will echo through all of human history. God speaks the 10 commandments, and these aren't suggestions or helpful guidelines. They're the foundational laws for human society, the moral framework that will influence civilization for thousands of years. The first commandment establishes priority. You shall have no other gods before me. In a world filled with idols and false deities, God demands exclusive worship. The second forbids making idols or images to worship. God is spirit, and he won't be reduced to human craftsmanship. The third protects God's name from misuse, demanding reverence in speech. The fourth sets apart the Sabbath day as holy, creating rhythm between work and rest, between human effort and divine provision. Then, the commandments shift from our relationship with God to our relationships with each other. The fifth commands honoring parents, establishing family structure and generational respect. The sixth forbids murder, protecting human life's sanctity. The seventh forbids adultery, guarding marriage's covenant. The eighth forbids stealing, securing property rights and economic justice. The ninth forbids false testimony, making truth the foundation of justice. The 10th forbids coveting, addressing not just actions, but the heart's desires. These 10 statements cover everything: worship, speech, time, family, life, marriage, property, truth, and contentment. They're brilliantly comprehensive, addressing both external behavior and internal attitude. They reveal God's character and his expectations for human society. They show that God cares about how we treat him and how we treat each other. Meanwhile, at the mountain's base, the people are terrified. The thunder, lightning, trumpet, and smoking mountain overwhelm them. In Exodus 20:18-19, they say to Moses, "Speak to us yourself, and we will listen, but do not have God speak to us, or we will die." They recognize they're encountering something far beyond human experience. They need a mediator, someone to stand between them and God's overwhelming holiness. Moses reassures them, but also explains God's purpose. In Exodus 20:20, he says, "Do not be afraid. has come to test you, so that the fear of God will be with you to keep you from sinning. The display isn't meant to terrorize, but to inspire reverent awe. When we understand who God truly is, it transforms how we live. Moses returns to the thick darkness where God is, and God continues speaking. He provides additional laws covering social justice, property rights, worship practices, and moral conduct. These detailed regulations show that God cares about every aspect of life. Nothing is too small or too secular for his concern. He's establishing a society based on justice, mercy, and holiness. God then calls Moses back up the mountain, where he'll remain for 40 days and 40 nights. There, God gives Moses stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments, written by God's own finger. This physical record ensures the laws won't be forgotten or distorted. They're permanent, authoritative, and divine in origin. The covenant at Sinai transforms Israel's identity. They're no longer just Abraham's descendants or Egypt's former slaves. They're God's chosen people, bound by covenant, called to holiness, and entrusted with his law. This moment establishes the foundation for Jewish faith and practice. It shapes their worship, their ethics, and their understanding of God. But Sinai's significance extends far beyond ancient Israel. These commandments have influenced legal systems worldwide. Concepts like the sanctity of life, the importance of truth, and the protection of property rights shape modern law. The idea that authority comes from God rather than human power has fueled movements for justice and freedom throughout history. For believers today, Sinai teaches crucial lessons. It reveals God's holiness and our need for a mediator. It shows that God cares about both our worship and our daily conduct. It demonstrates that true freedom isn't doing whatever we want, but living according to God's design. The law exposes our inability to perfectly obey, pointing us toward our need for grace. Mount Sinai stands as a turning point in human history, where heaven touched earth in fire and smoke, where God spoke and a nation was born, where law was given and covenant was established. The mountain may have stopped shaking, but its impact continues reverberating through time, calling every generation to encounter the holy God who speaks, who calls, and who transforms ordinary people into his treasured possession.